Okay, let's just dive right in. You know that dream of owning your own home? It's a big one, right? But for so many of us, there's this little voice, kind of deep in the back of your head, that just whispers, nope, not for you. Well, today, we're going to pull that feeling apart. We're going to figure out why it's so common. And, this is the important part, what you can actually do about it.
I mean, seriously, does it ever feel like owning a home is for other people? You know, the ones with a ton of money, a perfect credit score, and absolutely zero debt? If you've ever thought that, trust me, you are in very good company. It's a feeling that keeps so many amazing potential buyers just stuck on the sidelines.
But here's the thing, and it's kind of the big secret we're talking about today. The barriers that feel like these giant concrete walls, they often aren't just about the money. The real roadblocks are things we actually have some control over. All the misinformation we believe, the fears we hang on to, and that totally paralyzing feeling of just being overwhelmed.
So let's start with the big one, the one assumption that honestly stops most people before they even take the first step.
Oh man, this one is the classic dream killer, for sure. You hear 20%, right? And then you glance at home prices, do some quick scary math in your head, and suddenly, for a $250,000 home, you're looking at, what, 50 grand in cash? And for most of us, that number is so big, it just feels totally impossible. And that's it. Dream over. You just shut down right then and there.
But let me give you a huge reality check. That 20% rule, it's pretty much an old myth at this point. Now, don't get me wrong, you do need a down payment, but so many of today's loan programs require way less. We're talking percentages in the single digits. So that giant, terrifying number you've been stressing about, it's probably not even the real number. So here's the absolute most important thing. Stop guessing. Seriously. The most powerful move you can make is to swap out that scary, made-up number in your head with a real one. One conversation with a lender can show you what you actually need to aim for, and you might be shocked at how much more doable it is. Okay, let's move on and tackle the next two hurdles. And these are the ones that, let's be honest, can bring up a lot of shame and just keep people completely frozen in place. Credit and debt. The good old credit score. Maybe you know it's not where it should be, or maybe you're just too scared to even check. We've all been there. Past mistakes, maybe some high credit card balances. It's so easy to feel embarrassed and just assume you're automatically out of the running. So what do? We hide from it. But here's the thing. Lenders are not looking for someone who's perfect. They're looking at your whole story. So instead of hiding, imagine asking a professional this one simple question. This single question flips the script. It turns all that shame and fear into a real, forward-looking strategy. It's not about what you did wrong, it's about what you can do right starting now. And then there's the debt. Oh, the debt. Car loans, student loans, credit cards. It can feel like you're just treading water, you know? There's this common belief out there that you have to be 100% debt-free to buy a house, which for most of us is just not going to happen anytime soon. It feels impossible. And this is where being strategic is everything. See, in the world of mortgages, not all debt is treated the same. Some debts weigh you down way more than others. So instead of trying to fight a war on 10 fronts, a pro can help you pinpoint the one debt that's holding you back the most. Focusing your energy there can make a huge difference in your application. It's about working smarter, not just harder.
All right, let's break down that third monster fear. The worry that you simply won't be able to handle that monthly house payment.
Okay, this fear is totally real and valid, but a lot of the time it's based on these generic online mortgage calculators that spit out a huge, scary number without knowing anything about you. You see that number and your brain just goes, absolutely not, no way. But let's pull back the curtain on that number for a second. Your mortgage payment is usually made of four main ingredients, what they call PITI. That's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Once you see it broken down into its parts, the big, scary number starts to make sense. It's not just some random, terrifying figure anymore.
So the key takeaway here is to get an estimate that's actually built for you. This step alone is a massive stress reducer. It gives you real clarity about what price range is truly in your comfort zone. It helps you go from a place of just vague anxiety to making a smart, informed choice.
And that leads us right into the final, and maybe the biggest barrier of them all, that feeling of just being completely and totally overwhelmed. Just not even knowing where to start. Right? Do I find a realtor first, or a lender,
What the heck are closing costs? What paperwork do I need? The list of questions is so long that it's just easier to do nothing. So you tell yourself, I'll figure it out when I'm more ready, but more ready never actually shows up.
Look, you don't have to become an expert overnight to get started. You really don't. You just need to take one first step. That's it. Reach out to a realtor you trust or a lender and just ask them for a simple game plan. And hey, even if they come back and say, you know what, you're not quite there yet, that is still a huge win because now you're not lost anymore. You actually have a map. You have a path to follow.
So let's tie this all together. Let's focus on the one thing that truly kicks this whole journey into gear. And this right here is the heart of it all. For so many people, the real barrier isn't reality itself. It's a bunch of old, tired, or just plain wrong assumptions they're carrying around about everything from down payments to their own credit score, assumptions they've never actually stopped to question.
You don't need to have everything perfectly figured out before you even ask your first question. That's not the goal. What you really need is just a little bit of clarity. Getting some real, honest information about where you actually stand today. That's the magic key that moves you from stuck to in motion.
And this is so important to remember. Momentum starts the second you replace "I think" or "I'm afraid that" with "I know." And even if what you find out is that you need a year to get ready, you're not stuck anymore. You're preparing. And that is a completely different universe. So I'll just leave you with this one question. Forget about the huge, overwhelming goal for just a second. What's just one little assumption you have about all this that you could actually replace with a real fact this week? What's one question you could ask? Because that one small step, that could be the one that changes the whole game for you.